ESPN Radio and New Hampshire's best sports. This is WGAM, The Game.
Welcome back, everybody, to the New England Golf Radio Show. I am JJ Tillman. We got Chris Arkan behind the board playing. I know this one, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin on this beautiful Sunday of Memorial Day weekend. I know everybody's fired up to have a few days off from work. We're still working though, but it's because we love it. We don't care. We don't need a day off from this. We could do this every day because we love to be in here talking with you guys about golf. We have Dan Lockhart on the line from the Rick Smith Golf Academy in Bolton, Massachusetts. It is located at the International. If you listen to the show, you've heard me rave about the place and how wonderful it is. I still haven't been down there. I've just been too busy working, I guess. I don't know what I've been doing, but I haven't been down there, but I'm looking forward to getting down there. Dan, nice to have you on the show. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, JJ. Thank you. We got to get you down here. Stop talking about it. We've got to here, and there's a lot of things to experience.
I know. I'm that guy that you meet at the golf course that's all talk and no substance. You know, that guy that I'm a 2 handicap and I got all this game, and right. And then you go out there and it's not the case. And that's what I am right now with this visit to the International. I'm all talk and no substance. You're right. I got to get down there. I know you guys opened up last weekend. You had a great weekend from what I heard. Yeah. As I said, I wasn't there. Rick was on site. He was giving some lessons, giving some clinics. So what's going on? Talk to me a little bit about last weekend, how things went, and what you guys are doing.
Yeah, last weekend was terrific. Anytime we have Rick here in town is a great experience for everybody. He's very dynamic with the crowd. He's a great motivator. I love hanging around him because he's really infectious to me in a great way, of course. Mm-hmm. So it's always a great vibe when he's here, and we're going to try to have him here as much as possible. We're just, as you know, it's kind of a startup business for us here at the International, and I couldn't ask for a better place to be. Being from Massachusetts and coming back home, so to speak, there's always I wanted to teach and I wanted to hang my hat. So the staff has been terrific for me, and I'm really excited going forward with the different stuff to bring folks into the facility, whether it's the TaylorMade offering, the mat system over there with Stephen Tolpa. We've got a unbelievable fitness guy here. So the relationships I've built in just a month have been really great. So I couldn't be happier.
Excellent. And you know what? That's one strange situation you got going on down there where you're actually happy when your boss is around. I mean, not a lot of people are happy when they see their boss walk through the door, right? I mean, usually you see the boss, things change. You got Rick Smith, who, if you don't know who Rick Smith is, a phenomenal teacher, writes for Golf Digest. The accolades go on and on. We could talk about him alone just for a half an hour on the show if we wanted to. Yeah. But just to know that he's a really good guy and dynamic with the crowd, and you're happy to see your boss walk through the door and be around him, lets you know something about what you guys do down there.
That's right, and I think what you were saying earlier about never having a day off, I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. So I've been fortunate to be at some great locations and facilities. So
I'm sure the people out there can feel Chris and I's jealousy through the radio. I don't know how you feel that, but we're jealous about that. Never feeling like you worked a day in your life. Although this isn't work for us. Like I said, it's fun. It's a lot of fun for us. We love doing it.
This is our day, though.
Absolutely. So you're the director of instruction. Now, believe it or not, I know this will be a shock to a lot of people out there. I come from the world of education. My former job in a past life, I actually educated some of America's youth, or at least tried to educate America's youth. And I remember that we used to go to these staff meetings, and we used to talk about instruction, and we would talk about how people learn differently, and how some people are visual learners, people are audio learners, people want to see themselves do some certain things in different ways. Now, as the director of instruction, do you sit down with your coaches and talk about these types of things? Do you guys have a big, boring staff meeting like we have? Of course, it's probably not boring because it's golf you guys are talking about, which is everybody gets excited about that. And do you guys talk about how to instruct people and how to customize the lessons to their learning style?
Yeah, certainly it's a goal, of course, to be on the same page, not only technically with the swing theories and such, but also with the communication process. I feel like in order to be a great instructor, you need to get results. And how do you get results? Through good communication and through good knowledge base. So we definitely talk, and a lot of it it's a close-knit kind of small operation that we have. Mm-hmm. A little bit different than some of the other major academies where there's 2 of us here that teach full-time. Down in Naples, we have 5 instructors that teach full-time. Mm-hmm. So our I would say our meetings are more of just kind of chatting on the range. We certainly do have some structured meetings, business-wise and swing philosophy-wise. But more or less, I think when Rick's in town and working with him in a golf school and kind of teaming up, that's how we make sure that we're on the same page. Is just being together and being here as much as possible.
Right, and that's
kind of saying, ask an opinion. Say, here's a video of so and so. What would you have done? So Jesse's our other instructor here, Jesse Strubing, and Jesse, take a look at this clip, and what do you see in this swing? This might be after the lesson's already done, and just getting that, and then you can kind of share ideas with where to go. And certainly in the hiring process, part of it is finding out what their philosophies are and making sure that would blend, and it's not too difficult to kind of coexist. But that's been easy so far, especially with Rick's system. There is a certification process that we use, based on Rick's theories, and he doesn't have a whole lot of theories necessarily, but his tendencies and teaching and techniques, and what he considers fundamentals. So doing that, making sure the presentations, whether you go to a golf school in Michigan, in Florida, or here for Rick Smith, that you're getting consistent presentations in your golf schools themselves, not only just the private. So,
right, yeah, and that's great to hear.
That answers the question.
Yeah, that's certainly, and that's great to hear. So when people come to see you and they want to get their golf swing fixed, they're going to work with an individual instructor. You're going to develop that relationship. They're going to learn how you learn. They're going to teach you in that fashion. And then the best part about that, and what I love to hear, is they're not just going to say, I know best. They're going to take it back and maybe have a chat with you guys, their coworkers, the guys that understand the golf swing, obviously, and say, hey, do you think I'm doing the right thing here? Or maybe I'm struggling with one piece of this swing. You take a look. So it's a collaborative teaching process, which I think is awesome. You're not just relying on one person. Whereas if you went to your local pro, most likely you're just going to be relying on that one guy. It's probably pretty unlikely that they're going to be taking that person's video swing out to a few other pros and say, hey, what do you think about this? In some cases they might. In most cases I would say probably it won't happen. So that's great to hear that you guys collaborate on that. You spoke a lot about the teachers at the academy. Talk to me a little bit more about them and what their background is. Give me a little roster rundown. I don't know. You can create a lineup if you want. If you want to rank them, who's batting cleanup, who's in the 5-hole, who's leading off. I mean, give me a little more information about the teachers at the academy.
Yeah. So JJ, you're talking about here at the International, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So certainly myself. If I can start off with just my background, I've been teaching for 10 years now. Started teaching in the California desert at another kind of high. Very visible academy. Really created a passion there, and was trained mainly there, and is very consistent with the operation we have here, and the training with Rick Smith. So it was a perfect fit. But I created a passion. I've always loved the private sector. So I've worked at some of the great clubs: Carnegie Abbey Club in Rhode Island, Secaucus, Wannamoisa, Mission Hills out in California. So
yeah, those are great clubs.
That's my back. Yeah, and then also Tiburon, of course, down in Florida. So being with Rick for years now, when the facility here opened, I said, hey, Rick, I'm your man. Come on, get me up there. So
you're batting leadoff, right?
Yeah, so I'm batting leadoff. And then after me, it's a fellow named Jesse Strubing. And Jesse, we're both 31 years old, which is, it's kind of interesting that, we're both passionate about it. We've both been teaching I've been 10 years, and I believe he's been 9 or 10 years as well. So we've both had a passion for it coming straight to college.
Excellent.
So what has he done? He's worked at some nice clubs up in Buffalo, teaching up there. I think at Westwood was one of them. He actually did a little stint here at the International for a little while, working here, and then he's taught. Most recently, he was teaching at City Golf in Boston, as well as the MIT. He was an MIT golf coach, and he created actually a really neat studio at MIT. So he's got some kind of foresight and proactivity there. I haven't been to MIT, unfortunately, but from what I understand and from what people have told me, it's a really neat setup that he's created there, and that's what he'll do in the winter as well.
Yeah, and they won't let me on the MIT campus, so I probably won't be visiting him over there. That sounds like a great lineup of teachers. Yeah. Certainly guys that have a lot of experience, like you said. You and Jesse have 10 years of experience. Still relatively young at 31. I'm 31 as well, so right. I mean, if I'm relatively young, I guess you guys are too. Had a lot of experience, but taught at a lot of great places, a lot of courses that you mentioned on there. People know, and they're highly respected for their facilities. Now, talk about the facilities at the International. I know you've been, as I said, to a lot of different places that have great facilities. Talk about the facilities down there.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be here with. I guess I'll start from with the TaylorMade mat system here in Steve Tolpa, something that's really unique to the Northeast. I believe there might be 6 in the country, including ours, and I think the closest one to us, besides here, is Washington D.C. So we've got all of the Northeast as far as and this TaylorMade mat system. I don't know how many people have heard of it or know anything about it, but it blew Rick away. It blows me away every time I see it, and Steve Tolpa running it, we couldn't have a better person kind of commanding the ship. That's certainly not involved with the academy, but we're trying to partner as much as we can with them, and it's really a club fitting. I kind of joke it's a club fitting program, but I kind of joke that it's more of a teaching aid than anything. So I want to get in there, and what it does is it has reflectors. It has vest that you put on, and it's a 3D motion analysis. The
K-vest, right?
Club. Yeah, it's not K-vest, but it's a similar type of product that uses a little bit different technology. But yeah, it would be on that kind of same line. But I think, even maybe more detailed. And it does club, it does ball, it does body, of course. So very similar to K-vest, but with the club aspect as well. And of course the graphics, and it captivates you when you walk into that lab. It's very professionally done. So being involved with Steve, and I'm trying to create that partnership, is huge. And then not only that, having Brandon Smith, who's I think he's been on your show a little bit.
He's a regular on the show. We love Brandon.
Yeah, he's a strength expert and fitness expert, and I always say I try to take myself out of it a little bit and push my ego to the side and say, hey, really, I can kind of be a general contractor, but you've got to get your body and you've got to get your equipment right if you want to make great changes.
Yeah, and
so it is a holistic approach.
That's a great point. And, we've talked about that a little bit, and you can talk to a teaching pro all you want. If your body's not physically capable of making those changes, then you won't be able to do it. And if you don't have the equipment which is set up for the way that you swing, then you're not getting the most out of your golf swing. And Chris is laughing at me over here because I'm drooling. You're talking about the TaylorMade thing, and I am a TaylorMade guy. All my gear is TaylorMade. I need to get down there. I'm actually, I'm a little bit afraid to go down there because I might just start taking stuff and not paying for it because that's how much I love this stuff. So I got one final question for you here as we move into the break. We got a couple minutes. At the HP this weekend at the Byron Nelson, they've been dealing with some serious wind down there. It's been 20, 25 mile an hour gusts yesterday. If you saw any of the tournament, the guys just struggled to be right around par. The leader shot over par, made one birdie between them. Give us a tip for playing in the wind from the Rick Smith Golf Academy in Bolton.
Okay, I'm going to use some numbers or some terms from TrackMan, and TrackMan is a program. It's a Doppler radar unit that measures golf ball, and there's a term that they've come up with called spin loft. And what we're trying to do is, to play in the wind effectively, we want to minimize spin loft. So, for example, I'll try to make this quick and simple to understand. The spin loft is the loft of the club at the moment of impact. We call it dynamic loft, minus the attack angle. So the attack angle is how steep is the club coming down. So, for instance, a tour standard attack angle for a 7-iron would be about 3 or 4 degrees. The dynamic loft, so the loft that the club actually gives the golf ball at impact, is 23 degrees. The regular loft of the club is 35. They de-loft it so much, it's generally 23 degrees. So the spin loft is 26. Now, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, just move the ball back. Moving the ball back, it would help take away loft, which would be great. Now, you've just got to make sure that you don't hit down on it more, because if I have 23 degrees of loft and I hit down on it 7 degrees, now all of a sudden my spin loft goes up to 30, and that's going to balloon. That's going to spin a lot more and go up.
It's going to go even higher.
What we're trying to do, and I think Sergio is a great example of a player that comes in shallow with a lot of loft.
Yeah.
So he presses the handle forward. He has a very shallow angle of attack. He'll be a player that might turn his face down 10, 12, 15 degrees, but not hit down on it too much. So he's not creating a tremendous amount of spin hitting into the wind. So that would be kind of a goal, would be, flatter swing. I think generally the people that take the flatter swing planes do better in the wind. I know myself playing down at Newport Country Club a few times during November when it's really blowing. I've right around my body and had really good shots. But that's what I would teach somebody playing in the wind is make sure that we're taking one more club to de-loft the club, swing smooth, of course, so we're not creating a lot of speed and a lot of spin, and be as shallow or as sweepy as we can without releasing the club too early.
Right,
so,
and
that
without
makes sense. Even abbreviated swings.
and without shanking it, which everybody out there tends to do every once in a while. Except, and you're right about Sergio. He does a great job of that at D Loft and the club at Impact. If you watch this afternoon, you'll see him do that.
Yeah.
He hit a couple yesterday. They were maybe 10 feet off the ground. And I was just in amazement, saying, "How does he do that?"
Yeah.
Dan, I want to thank you for coming on. Everybody out there, you can go down to the Rick Smith Golf Academy. You can hook up with Dan. They will teach you how to swing the golf club, how to play in the wind, how to get better as the season progresses. They have a bunch of different options for membership down there. We will get all that stuff on our Facebook and our Twitter so that everybody out there can check that out. You get down there, you start working with these guys. There's no question that you're going to get better. You heard the roster of people that they have down there. The facilities are phenomenal. It's a no-brainer. Go down and see them in Bolton, Mass. We got to take a break right now on the New England Golf Radio Show. When we come back, we'll get into the HP Byron Nelson, and we'll also talk a little BMW PGA Championship over there in England.
Holding it, you put out the vote.